Welcome to Today in Prophecy Daily News. In 15 minutes or less, it's news with the perspective of the Bible. Well, let's look at some things. We've talked yesterday and also some of the things that have developed over the weekend regarding the nation of Israel. Let me tell you, all eyes are on Israel. But as we already know, the Houthis launched a missile toward Israel, landed near the Ben Gurion airport in Tel Aviv. Israel responded to what the Houthis had done, and that just brought some devastating actions against the Houthis in Yemen, and also the Trump administration, and it seems to be maybe more so because of what was going on with the Red Sea, had also been, through the Trump administration, the U.S. was firing off at Yemen too, against the Houthis. Okay, but with that, it appears Trump said just yesterday, hey, the Houthis say they want to get along now. We're not going to fire anymore. After Israel attacks Yemen's airport, Trump announces Houthis have agreed to stop terror attacks, so the U.S. will stop bombing the Houthis in Yemen. All right, so you look at that. Folks, I believe that this has put Israel into a very precarious position. We're going to look at some more of this in just a second with this announcement coming from Trump. All right, let's move on from here because I want to show you this from today. This is out of the Jerusalem Post. This is the Houthis' response. So now you have Israel saying, hey, what are you doing, Trump? Trump saying, no, we're not going to get involved. We've done all that we're going to do. Basically, let's just all get along. Okay. Check this out. Out of the Jerusalem Post, senior Houthi leader warns Israelis to stay in shelters due to planned retaliation. This was in reaction to the IDF conducting a wide array of airstrikes against Yemen on Sana'a International Airport, electric power stations, and a cement factory to weaken the Houthis. So now you look at this and you go, wow, President of the Houthi Supreme Political Council, Mahdi al-Mashat, stated on Tuesday evening that our response will be devastating and painful. It will not be able to be born and will not be able to be borne by the Israeli army. In other words, they won't be able to handle it. To all Zionists, from now on, stay in your shelters or leave your country immediately because your failed government will no longer be able to protect you. The aggressor will realize that the price he will pay is high, and no aggression will deter us from our decision to support Gaza until the aggression stops and the siege is lifted. All right, you look at that, and we also know that the Netanyahu cabinet has said, hey, we are going to take over Gaza. We're going to take Gaza back. That is Israeli land. God has given it to us. Israel had the land. They turned it over to the people back in 2005, and you look what has happened. Israel says, no, we're not. That's our land. All right, and in all of this, we bring the Trump administration that says, okay, we're not going to be firing anymore at the Houthis in Yemen. This puts Israel in a position because basically they're saying, okay, nobody's going to do anything. We're going to enter some kind of ceasefire. Really? I mean, I'm reading this going, this is really very concerning. One of our viewers sent me this, John Henry from back east. He sent me this. Thank you, John. He wrote, let me include you on my good morning views today. He writes this: who do you serve? If it's God, then the most important things you can do is keep your eyes on God and what he is doing, and to know what he has said he is planning to do, where he's planning to go, and anticipate what's coming and make your moves in support of those things. If it's self who sits on the throne of your life, then you are calling the shots and making the deals. You can claim God all you want, but you ain't listening. Then he went on to say this, commenting on what's happening right now. Yesterday, the Donald made a deal with the Houthis. They said, we surrender, just prior to meeting with the Canadians. And the Donald says, okay, we will stop bombing you. But you got to understand, this is all about Iran and Israel, not about ships going to the Red Sea with all the good things that come from the east and move west through those waters. The Houthis only were attacking those ships. The only reason for attacking those ships was to get the world's attention that they were serious about Israel. This deal was not the Donald's to make without Israel being included in this. And let's look at surrender. Can we expect any Islamic terrorists not to lie, he asks. They are instructed to lie to us in the Quran because to them we are the infidels and they see their God as God. When the Japanese surrendered, we had boots on the ground and we made their soldiers and sailors come out with their hands on their heads and we took away their arms. That is not happening in Yemen with a surrendered Houthis. So the Donald has made a deal that puts Israel in a box. We thus told Israel we are now at peace with them, and so are you. Wow, I mean, let that sink in. Israel, you can't fight with the Houthis anymore either, and the Houthis are saying we're going to bomb the heck out of Israel. And Donald Trump says, no, it's just going to all be peace. Wow. What happens, John continues, when they launch more ICBMs toward Israel? Let's hope that President Trump does not make a similar deal with Iran. We see Steve Witkoff desiring to take their bait, just as we may have just done with the Houthis. And the demons laughed. Once again, they see us as fools. But God, his plan will prevail. And since we disregarded him in this, it's not going to be smooth sailing ahead. And one more thing, it's always been about God and his holy word. If you don't see that, then you cannot and do not serve him, even if you said a prayer saying that you do. Folks, I look at this, spot on, John. Thank you for sending that my way. I look at this, and by the way, dealing with Islam, Bill Feder is going to be joining me next week, I think on Tuesday, and we are going to get into the roots of Islam. It's going to be a fantastic conversation and how they began. And when you see how they began, you understand exactly why these things are going on right now. And they are told to lie for their cause. And it looks like the Donald has taken the bait and really backed Israel into a corner. Listen, this is very concerning. And by the way, here's just a short video I want to show you. Think of this. Netanyahu isn't welcome in France yet. Al-Jilani, you know, the guy who changed his name from Al-Jilani, puts on a suit and tie, all right, of Syria, who is responsible for the murder of Druze and Christians in Syria, is welcomed with open arms and greeted with a smile by Emmanuel Macron. There they are, shaking hands. Look at that. Puts on a suit, puts on a tie. He's lying, and everybody thinks, oh, he's such a good guy. What a wonderful man he is. Yet Netanyahu can't go there. You start looking at these things, folks, the world is turning against Israel. Listen, I've just got to say, what I see going on with the Trump administration, very concerning with what's happening right now with the Houthis, with Iran. Trump was coming in with this great plan, and there's going to suddenly be peace. Well, he seems to be negotiating with everybody. He said previously, you can't negotiate with these people. You know, what in the world is going on? Listen, by the way, just want to let you know this. We will be up in Washington at the end of this month. End of May, Lake Stevens, Washington. You can register for the conference up there. Going to be fantastic. Billy Crone is going to be there. Eric Barger is going to be there. Pablo Frassini, myself, Pastor Kerry Green. It's going to be, I believe it begins on Friday night. Going to be Saturday. Going to be also Sunday morning up there. Going to be absolutely fantastic. Check it out at the events page. And then also the following week, first weekend in June, we will be in Phoenix, Arizona, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. At the end of the month of June, we will be all the way down to Mexico. We're going to be doing pastoral training, teaching pastors how to teach Bible prophecy on Friday. Saturday conference all day, and I'll be staying over Sunday. That's down in Mexico. All of these things are on the events page, plus much more. All right, let's look at that. As we look at this with what's going on with Israel, Al-Jilani's welcome. Trump wants to negotiate with the devil. And you see all of these things taking place. Israel is backed into a corner. I want you to think of this. Zechariah chapter 12, the Bible says in verse 2, God says, I will make Jerusalem a cup of drunkenness to all the surrounding peoples when they lay siege against Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall happen in that day that I will make Jerusalem a very heavy stone for all peoples. All who would heave it away will surely be cut in pieces, though all the nations of the earth are gathered against it. Listen, I don't think we are at that time yet. Zechariah chapter 12. But folks, we can see everything turning that way. And it's turning that way fast. We see anti-Semitism on the rise. We see even, listen, I'm just calling it the way I see it right now with what's coming from the U.S. going, what in the world is going on as Israel, they're on their own. And from my conversations I had with some of my Israeli friends and people I've met, Israel realizes they are on their own. What's Trump going to do? That came out of his mouth just yesterday about basically, let's surrender. That's not a real surrender that the Houthis are doing. Anyways, given that, what do? We take God's prayer request to heart. What is God's prayer request? Psalm 122, verse 6. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. God says, this is what I would like you to do when all the world is coming against Jerusalem. Anti-Semitism everywhere. God says, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. When will that prayer request be answered? When Jesus comes back. Lord Jesus, come quickly. Listen, God bless you guys. Appreciate your prayers. I'm going to be in Idaho. I'll be doing my prophecy update, and you can't make this up. From Idaho, we're doing a church plant there. I'll be back within a couple of days, a very short trip. But God bless you guys, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.